stock market crash and how it affected America, and then coming up we're going to introduce to you a new area on the map called Hooverville.
But first, let's go to Mitchell with the weather.
This is the United States of America. Right around here is where the Dust Bowl happened, northern Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas and that state, New Mexico. There's a lot of dust activity happening lately, and people have been getting a lot of dust in their mouth. My good friend from Kansas here has been eating lots of dust lately, and her face has been drying out very much. She's getting very old and fragile. And then, off to our other news, here in Florida, there's a giant black hole. It's sucking in people on the beach and eating them very rapidly and a lot. And up here, no, not up here, this is Canada, and this is Mexico. Okay, around the Mexican border, I know this isn't about the weather, but Chupacabra has been seen, and he is attacking people very often. He's running around in his underwear attacking people with Dorothy off of The Wizard of Oz. It's a very freaky happening. And in Washington today, going back over to the West Coast, it is raining very rapidly. There's lots of rain on the roads, and I stepped in a puddle earlier today. And also, my box has melted onto the ground where I used to live, so I have to look for another box later today. And that's it for the news today.
Thank you, Mitchell, for the weather and these random things everywhere. But anyway, now let's get back to Ashlyn, and she will share with us about the stock market crash.
As a lot of you know, yesterday we had a big market crash. This might be the start of the biggest Great Depression. Lots of people are starting to sell their stocks and try to collect all the money they possibly can. Even though everyone wants to buy the stocks, not all the people have the money to do so. They started to borrow money from the broker, and they would only put down 10 to 20% of their money. Yesterday we had an interview. Let's check it out. I'm here with James McLovin that has just lost a ton of money on the stock market. So, has it been hard having to adjust to the fact that you've lost so much money?
Yeah, it's been very hard. Not as much toilet paper anymore, so it gets kind of painful when you have to use leaves and bark. It's very difficult for me and my family.
And how do you feel about the stock market?
I feel very badly uncertain of it at the moment. You know, everything's kind of falling apart, and Jesus just got reincarnated, so it's always good.
How do you think we're going to come out of this situation?
I think we're going to come out of the situation with a full bucket of water. Full to the top. We're not going to come out half full, we're going to come out half empty.
Now let's watch this next one video.
Yes, that's what it was.
Now, let's hear what you have to say about the Hooverville.
Okay, so yesterday I went to downtown Seattle to interview Jesse Jackson, who lives in the Hoovervilles right here in Seattle. Jesse and 20 others started building shacks on a vacant land owned by the Port of Seattle, located a few blocks south of the Pioneer Square. They built about 50 shacks. The health department posted notices on every shack to evacuate within 1 week. 7 days later, the Seattle police arrived with cans of kerosene and burned down the shacks. Let's take a look at that interview. I'm Natasha, and I'm here with Jesse Jackson. So, I hear you're the mayor of Hooverville. How do you think about this?
I think very often about this. There are many people out there counting on me and my blankets that I supply this town with. It's very nice to rub this thing.
So, why are you living by yourself? There's nobody around you.
Well, there was a giant fire, and a lot of people died and burned around. See all that dirt over there? That's a big pile of corpse ashes. Very, very nasty.
Moving on, before I get too scared. So, what's your main source of food?
Main source of food is rats. There are lots of rats around here. Squirrel!
People, I really don't know what to tell you right now.
Oh.
I got some squirrel. So back to this interview.
Is your house comfortable?
It is very cold in the winter times. Got some squirrel in my mouth. Yeah. The roof's weak, a lot. Made out of blankets. I got this very convenient 2-person bag that, you know, if there's ever anybody like around, then I can share it. So, yeah, it works.
How long did it take you to rebuild the shacks?
It took about 39 days to rebuild everything. There was a lot of recuperating after the giant fire.
Okay, well you heard it here first. Now let's go back to the studio.
Well, that wraps it up for today. Hope to see you tomorrow on American Nation News. Bye.
Alright, now I gotta find a plug outlet.
Mitchell, what are you doing?
Kind of brighten it up maybe.
With that small lamp.
Hey now. It may be small, but it's very large in its own terms. Does it have a light bulb in it? What in the world? Alright, we gotta find the light bulb. Why are you guys...
You went from up here.
Oh. Those are probably hot though.
Don't! You are a genius.
Why did you take the one that's right above where you're videotaping?
I got it.
Obviously not.
These are so bright. It's gonna amaze you. So, what we're gonna do...
Ow.
I told you, it's very bright. Ow. Is it bright? Like, can you see me in my dark, or am I...
You're...
Out of your face.
Yeah, you can see the side of your face. It'll work.
Is it... Can you see the...
But it probably would have been better if you would have took the other light bulb out.
Really?
Yeah, because you're on that side, unless you switch sides and be left-handed.
You gotta be very careful with these light bulbs, because these are like $20 a piece. I don't know why they're so expensive, but they're really... Ow.
Don't shock it. You have your lights on.
Huh?
So do you have...
You can't shock yourself. You guys have crack?
Yeah, well, crap.
This right here is Texas. There's a lot of cactuses and worms in Texas. Up here is Washington. We live in Washington and it rains a lot there, and it's raining right at the moment right now. And over here in Florida there's a giant black hole. Black hole. And then up here next to Michigan or wherever that is, there's a big lake. And the lake has dried up and evaporated and nobody knows where the water went. And it's a big deal right now because there's no fishes in that lake. And over here in North Dakota, it's very cold. There are lots of igloos and Eskimos in North Dakota. Then, right down around here, is Mexico. There's a lot of drug battling going on. I don't really know what's
James McLovin that has just lost
I am
tons of money
McLovin.
in the stock market crash. So, has it been hard adjusting to the situation that you've lost lots of money? Here with James McLovin, and he has just had...
I am McLovin.